Felicitations, my family of fledglings. And Ghost, it's so good to see you as well. My name is Damien Halme, and you are my captive tonight. I am your ghost captor with the mostest. Ghost. It doesn't really rhyme with the ghost host thing sounds so much better, and ghost captor. I don't know. Not great. Yeah. I stopped my own music because I plugged in my phone. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to plug in my phone. I did. Actually, I meant to plug it in. Hi. Welcome to the stream. This is a stream that looks like a gaming stream, and when you look at the stuff that comes up on stream, it looks like we're playing a game, but it's really a deep dive chat stream with heavy thoughts and deprogramming and unpropaganda. Is that a term? Anti-propaganda. We do a lot here. It's very cerebral here. You all are big on finding facts and optimizing and questioning things and getting into the weeds in deeper subjects. And there's a game in the background, and that's what we do here. That's what makes this stream different than so many others out there all over. Are you winning, Kale? I think I am. At the beginning of 2026, we'll start to really know for sure. But yeah, I feel like I'm winning. Today felt like a win. For those of you that don't know, or who missed last night's stream where I mentioned what today was, today is the anniversary of my mom's passing, which happened just a few years ago, pretty recent. It's one of those things that in time I probably won't mention on stream, but today, this year, it's still close enough that it's impactful. I think about it. I talk about it. I talk with family about it, and we did. And it's meaningful. Today meant something to me to reflect on the good, the bad, everything that made my relationship with my mom. And I like to include the bad. That might sound counterintuitive. A lot of people don't like to speak ill of the dead. And I like to embrace all of the good times and the bad times together because I feel that it humanizes a person. I have one sister who gets upset when I talk about our mom in disparaging ways. She was doing the best she could. She loved so deep. She sacrificed so much. Yes. And she also misstepped. And that's okay. That doesn't make her less of a mom. In fact, that makes her more. If she was only the good memories, or if I only limited my remembrance of her, hi, Kit. Welcome. Hi. If I only sat and thought about the times where my mom and I had iconically great, enriching, good for D moments where I became a better human because of her. She supported me, she enriched me, she promoted me. I benefited from her interactions in my life and my schooling and everything. If it was only those, it wouldn't tell the whole story. It doesn't bring somebody honor to edit their life so that it's a different life than the one that they led. It's honestly, honestly, it's a lie. If I'm gonna, that's just a funny turn of phrase to say it that way. But yes, honestly, it's a lie to say I'm only gonna remember the wonderful, she was so kind and so sweet and she gave up so much and blah, blah, blah. All those things are true of my mom. They are true. She also had a lot going on wrong and accused me of some bad things. And we had fights. And she let me down in some circumstances. And I felt that our relationship surged very strong in parts of my life and waned very weak in other parts. And all of that is worthy of remembering, more so than just the good stuff. Just the good stuff was not my mom. My mom had a lot of problems. She made a lot of bad choices. She made a lot of great choices. And I want to remember all of those. If you just focus on the ways in which you were victimized or hurt or let down or exploited or abused by your parents, if you just focus on those, you're probably being disingenuous. Some of you do have bad parents, though, so don't get me wrong. If that's really all you've got and the good really didn't come, don't think that you need to fabricate good if it's not there. And the same is true of the good stuff. Some of you have really, really great parents that maybe you have very little arguments with and very little conflicts, and they let you down very few times in their life. But it probably did happen. And we should be honest with who our parents are or were, as opposed to making a story up. Yeah. All right, let me catch up with chat. Oh, crap, stupid kick people. I know what you all are like. It seems to be the same sort of person. If I report somebody on kick, it really doesn't do anything. This is the same old bullshit. Mark is a bot? Sure, we'll mark you as a bot. Cool. I bet your mom would want you to know how to admit wrongs and make amends for the future. Yeah, I think that when she made mistakes, she was good at admitting them. And I'd like to think that I'm the same. In fact, I've already become well practiced in that with our kids. If I say something that I think is mean or doesn't serve well, or I let my emotions get the best of me, or if I forgot them or diminished their importance in my life in some way, I apologize, I make up for it, and I say, adults are not better than children. Adults are not more capable than children. Adults get things wrong all the time. The frequency of problems that come up is honestly probably the same frequency. If you're 5 or 55, you probably have the same issues or same ratio of things are going fine versus issues in your life. And you could sit and blame yourself, or you could just admit that they happened, say you're going to try to do stuff to get better, work on it. Yeah. Our kids know how fallible we are. It's okay to know our parents mess up because we mess up. Everyone does. Or it doesn't reduce the value of a person. Right. That's really the biggest thing, is our value is certainly not determined by how perfect we live this life, right? I think the biggest thing with mistakes is if you decide you will not learn from what you did, you will not grow from what you did, you will not acknowledge what you did for other people that are hurting. You hurt somebody, and instead of apologizing or instead of trying to make amends, you just say, well, everybody makes this mistake, or hey, that's life, baby, or I've moved on, why don't you, or whatever. If you can't help somebody else heal when you are the reason that they've been hurt, Um, that's bad. So yes, mistakes are part of living, part of growing, and we we aren't lesser for it. We are guided by them. We don't navigate down the river of life by dodging every stone. Maybe like 1 in a million people do, but that's weird. Honestly, if somebody never made mistakes and they just always lived a perfect life, I'd feel weird about them. I'd be like, I don't know about you. You make me feel strange. Because generally the way we navigate down the river of life, if I'm going to use that analogy, is to bump our boat into rocks. Ow, that's a rock. Okay, turn left. Ow, that's a rock. Turn right. We we navigate by braille. We bump into things and bounce and run our ship over shoals, and that's it. You know, mistakes are a good thing. They help us along as long as we pay attention to them. As not like, wow, bumping into rocks is fun. I'm gonna bump into rocks all the rest of my life. I love hurting other people. There are a lot of ways my father was not a good person. He was not a good husband. He made choices that massively hurt and impacted a lot of people. He was a great dad 95% of the time. He loved me completely. I won't diminish the ways. I'm not sure I'm reading that sentence right. He passed on now, or because he was a good dad. We remember people, not parts of people. Yeah. He hurt people. Won't diminish the ways he hurt people because he's passed on. Yeah. I think we sometimes honor the dead a little bit too much, and we forget to humanize them and remember their mistakes and their missteps. And unfortunately, that I feel is a disservice. I think that we ought tell a person's missteps as much as we ought to tell their successes, because that's who a person really is. We are a culmination of all those things. In parts of South Africa, if I'm remembering this right, there were erected statues of a man named William Rhodes, who was a British colonizer and destroyer of culture and territory and historicity in Africa. Just an awful person when it came to treating with African people and their way of life and what to do in that world, that part of the world. And he was also the person who set up the Rhodes Scholarship, which lifted many disenfranchised youth in England out of their impoverished lifestyle so that they could pursue higher learning at greater institutions, greater universities that their families wouldn't otherwise have afforded. So he made very impactful change in the world, both for very negative and for very positive. And I don't know that most of our family members who have passed are necessarily great and awful at those extremes. Those erected statues of him, whatever country they were in, they've been toppled because those people hate him and his legacy so much. And yet, back home, his home country, he's benefited so many poor people in so many great ways. You can be all of those things. You can be great and awful at the same, or within the same lifespan. Maybe not right at the same time. And yeah, there are plenty of ways in which I feel like my mom didn't serve my family well, or didn't serve me well. Maybe she was better with my sisters, but that was a completely different era of her life. And there's no way you could compare what she was like then raising them to what she was like raising me. They're very different worlds where she had so many different other externalities happening. And yeah, I feel like I was failed as a child in plenty of ways, and also benefited in crazy, amazing ways, and had a fantastic life because of her. And it can be both. She can be a culmination of everything. And none of that diminishes my love or respect for her as a person, because everybody has mistakes, missteps, and things that they do accidentally or intentionally that could hurt or diminish other people. I think we all do it over the course of our lives. Yeah. A ban evader. I know what to do here. This might not even show up on stream if I do the thing, but I'm going to do the thing. Boop. Hey, it did the thing. Cool. Bye. Yeah. So I took a little bit of extra time before stream start to between putting the girls down to bed and getting all of the streaming stuff set up, I went ahead and had a personal, private, honoring my mom's life sort of moment. I think one of the things that she was remembered for is having a lack of control of some really negative components of her lifestyle that a lot of people shame, both today and especially during her life. One of the things she was shamed for was having really bad paranoia. She just didn't trust people very well. She was very guarded, and she always assumed the worst of people. If you acted in a way other than complete love and openness to her, she'd start to wonder what your angle was, how you were going to hurt her, what you plotted against her. She was very defensive and anxious and paranoid. And the other thing was she struggled with her weight most of her life and had bad dietary decisions for a good chunk of that. But both of those stemmed from a bad relationship, one in which she feared that the loyalty and fidelity of marital bonds were being compromised, and her paranoia served her in that regard. So paranoia helped. They proved true, and if they proved true once, you might overuse or abuse that functionality. And her bad dietary choices were, I think, from my understanding of where I am right now in my life, fueled by bad interpersonal relationships that led her to be anxious and depressed and seek food for medication. And I understand that. I think I've inherited some of that from her. And once she extracted herself from the negative interpersonal situations in her life, with time and some caring people that intervened into her life to help teach her other ways, she made a huge dietary shift to become very healthy, nutritious, and feeding into her life. And then later on, as she saw, she started to get more medical coverage and help that she couldn't afford because she spent most of her life poor, actually. She eventually saw some medical professionals that helped her see where she was at and realized her first change in diet wasn't enough and took an even further, more severe dietary change, which can be very hard if you were raised in a certain environment and if you were reactive emotionally to bad interpersonal relationships that you medicate through food. It can be hard to break that cycle even after you've removed yourself from the negative situation, because food can be very addictive, especially in the US. It's made to be addictive. And she made two huge sweeping medical or dietary changes to improve her medical outcomes. And I think they served her incredibly well. She was much more in charge of her own destiny, making choices for herself. And that's very inspiring. And people don't remember her for the sort of why behind some of the negative aspects of who she was. But I do. And I think she did very well given the circumstances of her life and the things that she had to endure. And I hope to be remembered half as gracefully, half as honorifically as that, with the things I've had to face in my life and how I treat them. Yeah. We're going to play some OMORI tonight. I'm going to... not retro to this? Yeah. Here's the scene that's set up for games that are in this 4:3 ratio. These are not the 1080p ratio sort of games. Meant to feel like an old school television for whatever reason, and pixels that you can see on the screen. We are in the OMORI dream world. I believe this is something like a dream world. He's with all of his childhood friends. They're all colorful and bright, and OMORI is not. And this is his sister on the tablecloth here for a picnic. And we're trying to ultimately find their friend Basil, who has disappeared. And it's been so many streams that we've been searching for him. I don't even remember why he's gone or why we can't find him or what's going on. But the place we're in right now, we're going to try to find Basil. We did just save. We are healthy. Did we already do this? I feel like we must have already done this area. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure we were here already and we've already done this. And this is fine. There's the big spider. I'm 90% certain we did this. I just need to really check to be sure that yes, indeed, this was a thing. Oh yeah, we've cleared all the way back to the end. There's nothing on this. We've been on this screen before. The big spider can take us back. We're not afraid of spiders anymore. We are going to continue up into the rest of... We're not going to fight that bear. That bear is big bad news. We do have to figure out what the heck is going on here. Thanks for listening to my rant about my mom. Oh, I was going to say, so I'm really twisted and weird, and I don't have much reverence for topics. So the title of this stream, let me pull it up so I remember what it is precisely. The title of this stream is Say Something Nice to My Mom on the Way Out. Obviously, that's reference to the anniversary of my mom's passing and me remembering her and all that sort of thing. But the direct verbiage, say something nice to my mom on the way out, is something very twisted and not honorific whatsoever. And I want you all to know where it's from, just so that you know that my brain is a little bit foobar and does not have proper... I do not respect things the right way. I honestly think that having a lack of respect is a good tool because it helps you optimize and break down barriers. If you don't hold anything sacred and you fuck with things and break things apart in your mind and add them in profane ways, it lets you see the world in a different light than other people who constrain their view on things and say, oh, that's illegal for me to think. You know, not illegal by any law of any country, but like illegal by your own blockades you've placed on your own brain. I used to work with this guy who was pretty big into cocaine, and we used to close a retail shop together. And everybody would be gone. All of our other coworkers would have clocked out, and it was just him and me. and we'd lock the doors. And as soon as we'd lock the doors, I'd be like doing things in one part of the store. He'd be doing things in another part of the store. And I'd hear him start to talk about another coworker, a girl that he had a crush on. And he would start to play out this scenario of him like manipulating her into coming back to his house and having sexy times. And he'd play out his part of the dialogue, and then he'd talk in falsetto and play her part of the dialogue. And then he would, in his little dream fantasy that he was saying really loud so I could hear it. I'm sure there's some part of this that was really funny for him to think, wow, I'm making D super uncomfortable while I play out my fantasy out loud, playing both parts, my character and her character, in very loud voices so D can hear while he's trying to like close up his part of the shop. And then he'd play out the sex act, and he'd do like his voice while he's enjoying his side, and her voice while she is getting receiving his pleasures or lack thereof. They sounded kind of painful when he voiced her voice, probably for reasons. Remember, this guy, he was not all like on the up and up. But this part I never forgot because it was like so fucking weird, and just sometimes somebody says something that sticks with you forever, even if it's a horrible thing. He would finish with his voice acting of both roles. He would finish off in or on or some. He would finish, and then he'd be like, "Here's a towel," to, you know, this imaginary scenario. He'd tell her, "Here's a towel," and he'd say, "Now get the fuck out of my house and say something nice to my mom on the way out." He was doing this for him, and he was doing this for me. He knew I could hear every word he was saying. Fuck that guy. Man, what a creepy, weird... I felt so... like, yeah, it's funny, but also that's a coworker that I cared about and wanted, you know, to not ever have him do the things that he voiced to her ever. But it infected my brain. And so now I say his stupid fucking ridiculous line randomly to people just to get the same shock value that I would. I think that's what it was. It was so shocking to me, that last line. Say something nice to my mom on the way out. Because it implies, like, the storytelling that puts together. I hate it. I hate it so much that I remember it and I repeat it. What a horrible storyteller. What an awful experience. And I closed with this guy. I closed a store with this guy so many times. He didn't do this stupid fucking roleplay every single time he closed. But when he did, it's one of those things, like, you almost can't help but laugh, but it's also horrible at the same time. Oh my God. The stories you have, D. Oh, I have so many stories. In fact, I always feel bad. Like, I feel like some of my stories I've told, but because just the nature of the internet and lives in particular, sometimes my stuff gets deleted off of certain platforms, or if you're watching my old VODs on YouTube, not everybody watches like every single live I've ever done. YouTube only goes back to the beginning of 2024. And so there's so many other VODs that happened before then that are just lost to the wind. And so there's so many life stories that I've told that have crazy, or just crazy stories. They're awful, or they're sad, or they're triumphant, or they're weird as fuck. And I might repeat some of those, so I apologize if, you know, you're sitting there listening to a story I've already said, but it might hit new audience. And so to some regard, like, I don't mind repeating myself. And I try to keep a mental catalog of the things that I've said before in the past. So I'm not like just saying the same one story over and over again. I'm also like, I hate narcissists. Full stop. Just hate narcissists. I hate people who will tell their same like fucking Glory Day story 50 times in a month. And they'll just, anybody who wants to listen to them, oh yeah, won this trophy in football for doing this thing. I lettered in this. I got nationals level here or whatever. And they just like, they can't shut up about that one thing. With one caveat. Oh, Troa doesn't get a intro today? Shit. Why, Troa? Why does StreamerBot and Twitch both just hate you? It's super not fair. I hate this. Anyway, yeah, with one exception, and that's Weehaw. Because Weehaw gets to brag about being an amazing wrestler, like a real wrestler, not, you know. It's true. No, it's true. He is a great wrestler, and I know it because he's explained to me the circumstances around the wrestling situation, the skill levels, and like where he stands versus where he ought to be based on his skill, based on his time spent in the sport and all that sort of thing. And he gets to brag about it because it's real. And he hasn't repeated a story either. And I think that's the difference. If you know you're good, if you're confident and assertive, and you acknowledge where you've put in good work, and so you should be proud, there's nothing wrong with that. And you're not repeating the same story to get more pats on the back, more back scratches, more free, whatever, mental, I don't know. Yeah. Weehaw is amazing. But everybody else, yeah, it makes me cringe. And so I try to repeat stories very minimally. And if I do, you'll recognize I don't try to grind stories in which I've done great things just for the clout, just to get you all to like say like, oh, D, you're really the best, or you're so good, you're so charitable, you've supported so many people, you're so helpful, you're a boon to this world, we all love you. I'll take that when it's happened. Has it happened? Have I done stuff that I feel I'm really proud of, and I've really supported people, and I'm good and positive and done great things? And if you compliment me on those, I should accept it. Yes, I have. I've also done some really bad things. I've been the bad guy. I've had some big mistakes, some big missteps, or some big misunderstandings that have just like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But I thought one thing, they thought another thing, and I was bad at communication. So we never bridged the gap. And then it just turned into this unspoken thing that grew a rift. And now we're not friends or lovers or whatever it happens to be. That's happened a lot too. But I'm not all bad, and I'm not all good. And I think that's a healthy thing to keep in mind. Be proud where you should be. Be ashamed where you should be. And don't say, I'm only going to remember the prideful moments, just like with my mom. And don't remember only the times where you've let people down. Because that's not, neither of those is fair to you. You're not the hero to everybody. You're not the villain to everybody. So you are saying you just fucked the US and want us to say something nice on our way out? Oh, so I think what you're playing off of is Mother, as in like the Mother games, right? Which are based in the US. Here's the thing. I mean, I think if I'm reading you right, the Mother games are set in the US, but that place isn't called Mother. The whole planet is called Mother, actually. The place where the games our set is called Eagle Land. That's what the US is called in the Mother franchise. It's weird. Did someone mention something nice? Yes, welcome, Troa. You are something nice. Or should I say someone nice? Apparently the wrong mood. I don't get it. I made sound for Troa. Oh, the inconceivable is you saying, here's Troa's intro. Thank you. The books have returned. Lots of shelf changes. Can you explain that? Actually, let me take a quick bio break because I didn't do that before I started stream. And now I'm regretting my decision. So I'll be right back. And then we're going to catch up and chat and probably play this game too. Okay, bye.
I mean, what luck? The huge giant fell fast asleep. The huge giant fell fast asleep. I guess that's the fucking solution. Son of a bitch. Can you believe it?
Oh, jeez. Stupid long lob.
Oh no.
Nuts got me.
What?
You heard what he said.
Long lob nuts.
Sure. Okay.
Oh, you're so fun. I want to make like a baby and spend 9 months inside you. What the hell? Lovely. All right. Docking. I mean, doc. Playing is doc. Be healing. There.
Nobody laughed at my docking joke in that one game. Oh, shit. Not this one. This one. The books have returned. Lots of shelf changes. Behind me, nothing's changed. Troa, nothing's changed on those books. Does anybody ever want me to pull down one of the books? I have books here. I don't know if you can see my hand. Here. These two are the most impactful in my life. And so they live there for a reason. And then I have a bunch of books up here. And these ones are good. One of them has meant a lot to me. One of them was just frou-frou. And I honestly can't remember what the next two are. But they're there for a reason. And I know some of them are like spine out versus spine in. It's just based on where they are and how like they associate with the camera and all that kind of stuff. And like how I can get them to go. Yeah. Hi, M? Can I just call you M? Your name is interesting. I'll pull up a VOD later, but I may be having a me moment. I think so. Because I will tell you, I haven't futzed with anything on the shelves. What I do generally futz with, what changes in a micro schematic sort of way, I have a balisong. It is here. You may recognize the name as a right here, a butterfly knife. And it doesn't sit when I close the shelves up for the night, because reasons. I close these shelves up, and the balisong would not be in display mode. So I post it more vertical. And here I have shuriken that live inside of a tube, a metal tube. And I put them vertical when I start the stream. That's really hard to see, but they're there. Everything, everything's pretty much the same. My little Nosferatu, who I call, what do I call him? Nosferatu? Nosi? Yeah, I think I've been calling him Nosi. He's back there. I discovered something about him. I need to talk with Oz's friend who made that Nosferatu, because she did a thing and she's been waiting a long time for me to find it, and I found it. And we need to talk about what I found. But the books haven't changed position or order. They're deliberate. They're very deliberate where I've placed them. Pretty sure it's a me moment. No worries. Yeah. What I was gonna say in relation to just people and fairness, I also feel like you can have a great relationship with somebody and be willing to call them out on some real bullshit, or have a really bad relationship with somebody and be willing to say something very kind about them. You know, somebody could just be a total villain, a Scrooge, and disenfranchising a lot of people. But if you're one of the people they benefited from, we have a local person where we live that's really burned some bridges, has really hurt some people in the name of monetization of her efforts. But she's never asked Oz or me for money, and we've been a part of her inner circle for free for a while. Not often, not high frequency, but anytime something happens and people are gathering for something or connective in some way and money might be exchanged, we're not expected to contribute, which means something to us. And I get that that might be villainous to some people. They don't like how money can sully relationships, but she hasn't harmed us, and so it puts us in a unique light in which we've really respected and benefited from the relationship, while also recognizing that other friends and connections of ours have been hurt by the same person. It's a weird place to be, but we acknowledge it. I also know somebody who is an egg in trans terms, essentially, or something like this. Some form of identity and gender exploration on the DL that they would not really want the world to be engaged in or know. They feel that it would threaten so many things that they've put in place in their life and that sort of thing. And I would love to support somebody like this and say, let's get you to the place where you don't care, where the logistics about your relationships with those who would disenfranchise or hurt you or make you feel less than because of what you are inside, because of who you truly, authentically are. Let's get you past that. Let's get you to the place where you can just live everything you are and just be 100% you and find your happiness and solidarity within yourself. But I don't do that for this person because they happen to be a bigot and a racist and a misogynist and a classist and like any ist you can think of. Do they have a harmful or minimizing or monolithic view of people? Are they disingenuous to many different people besides themselves? Is their understanding of the world incredibly ignorant and harmful? Yeah, it's awful. And so I don't really want to support that person's personal journey to their own health and truth, because if they're more solid about themselves, maybe they'll start to direct their ire towards all of those groups that they've felt superior over for so long. People are really nuanced. There's a lot to everyone. Yeah. Your mother is a good person. She's passed away a couple years ago now, but thank you. KYS is your name, what I think it stands for. If so, I mean, kudos to you. My mom was good and bad. I appreciate the ways in which she was good. One of the ways in which my mom was a good person, to which I'll agree with you, is she really loved kids and was a kid at heart herself, and would really have loved to have lived long enough and had the resources to make children's books. She was never a good author or illustrator, but she always wanted to try. And she was just always like a wage slave and was busy and tired all the time and just spread thin, was always a support person in the household, no matter who she was living with. And so she never got to just sit down and start penning children's books. But she had this whole idea of like an island nation of living teddy bears who kids would randomly happen upon this place, sort of Wizard of Oz style, and then they'd have great, wonderful friendships with the teddies there, and just wholesome, sweet, cute type of storytelling that she wanted to do. And I would have loved that she lived long enough to make that come to fruition, but it never did. Yeah. Me going dark side wouldn't be a good thing. Interesting. Hello, Miraculous. Welcome on in. Plus side, yes, me moment, but no need for horizontal. Good. I'm glad. Stay with us as long as you can, but don't feel bad if you do have to take a break. It does not stand for what you think. I came up with this nickname. Oh, it's in another language. May I ask what language and what it means? I'm something of a linguist, and so I like learning etymology and the meaning behind people's names, screen names, and all that sort of thing. I'm big on that kind of stuff. I love learning new words. Hello? Miraculous! Thank you for subbing. We play games and have deep chats pretty much every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in US Eastern Time. I start roughly around 10 p.m., but I've been having trouble getting on time lately. And I usually stream for 4 or 5 hours. And then Wednesdays, same thing, starting at about 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific if you're on the west coast of the US. Yeah. So, but as much as we bring games up, most of what we do is just have great deep chats. Basically nothing. The name is just like a nice stringing of sounds. Because I've definitely made names like that. I've been writing, not recently, but I have a lot of work toward a fantasy novel, and several of the characters' names in that, there are sounds that I like that I've put together that sound like what I think the qualities of the character are, and therefore I've put together names and sounds and feels that embody that. And they don't mean anything in any language, especially for a fantasy novel. You probably don't want to like take things from the real world and like, oh yeah, this guy's name is Jesus. People are going to think something weird if you name a character Jesus in your fantasy novel, right? So, yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so we've explored this bit of stone and webbing together. I feel like if OMORI tries to hack it, he's going to hurt his little steak knife thing. So Kel says, what the heck is this thing? It's kind of slimy. I mean, that's kind of weird right there because webbing's usually not slimy. Not exactly, but it came from an obscure local meme. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I understand explaining memes to people is sometimes more tiring than it's worth. Because you're like, oh, yeah, you don't know this meme? Oh, well, it's based off of another meme that came from Vine back when Vine was a thing. And the original Vine was really referencing like this show from the mid 90s. Like once you start going like 2 or 3 layers deep, I feel like explaining a meme really isn't worth it. And smells like bad apples. Oh, apples. Shit. That's weird. That's cool, but you can get a linguistic degree and come up with fictional languages like Tolkien. So I happen to be versed in what you're talking about, fictional languages. In the fictional language community, fictional language creators call them conlangs, which is short for constructed languages. And conlang creators come together and sometimes share ideas or how inspirations or what they've grabbed from what, or what natural languages in the world that we live in are interesting, and what components or rule sets you might take to build your own personal private language, or how you make a language that sounds distinctly not human, either animalistic or alien or whatever that happens to be. And because I'm so interested in the concept of conlangs, I have a Tolkien book on the different languages that he constructed, everything from the dark languages, the Orcish and everything, to your Dwarvish and varieties of Elvish and all of that. And I used those for a lot of fantasy games that I played. For a long time in my life, I was addicted to MMORPGs, and I often named my characters off of some Tolkien language. Like, okay, well, what do I want my name to mean? I'm going to be a rogue, so I want to name my character Shadow. Well, what's Shadow in this language or in that language? Does it sound cool? Is it a cool name? Stuff like that. So I've played a lot with that. And when I started on YouTube, my first YouTube videos that I posted as a content creator, I was fascinated with the languages in Game of Thrones, the TV show, because my mother-in-law got me to read the books. The book series is called A Song of Ice and Fire, and in those books, there's very little conlang work. There's just like a word here and there. So instead of like Khal Drogo, the guy who's played by oh god, what's the actor who played Aquaman? Momoa, Jason Momoa. Instead of him like speaking full Dothraki in the books, so that you learn the Dothraki language as you read the books, right? Big nerd sort of stuff, big Tolkien sort of stuff. Instead, George R.R. Martin just said, Khal Drogo says, we have to conquer this land next, or we need to watch out for assassins, or we need to move to gain more resources, comma, end quote, in Dothraki. So you don't hear the Dothraki language. You only hear like a word here and there. Well, what does this word in Dothraki mean? And the only time Martin ever writes like a word in, it's usually because the word is meant to be something that can't be replaced by an English word, i.e., he wants you to feel like the languages have words that mean 2 or 3 things at the same time, kind of like some Chinese words do, where it's like, depending on how you hear it in a sentence, it's sort of a in-betweeny word when you think of it from an English standpoint. It's like, well, it's a degree of variation between this and that, and could mean both, or one or the other, depending on, as an outsider, it doesn't quite mean. And those are the only times you ever hear a word. Like Dracarys is the word that Daenerys says to order her little baby dragons to spit fire. And that's just like a one-off word. Most of the Valyrian that she speaks, you don't see the words. So the show... Oh, hi, Ruby Jane. So the show doesn't follow that at all. They actually have people speaking in full Dothraki and in full Valyrian, so they hired a conlang specialist to make those languages out of nothing, and now they're becoming canon to the books. If that dude ever writes more books, I think he's just like living off the fame of the show and the other derivative shows. I don't know if he'll ever write a book again for the rest of his life. Kiss says, yeah, exactly that vibe you described, but it's more obscure because it came from a community that consisted of a few hundreds of people from a long dead Extremely unpopular social network. Interesting. I mean, the fact that you have a 3-letter screen name, even for most people, 3 letters they wouldn't necessarily put together for a screen name, that's something, right? It means you've grabbed a name that and stuck with it. I think most people, if they think of screen names, they would think every single 3-letter combination is probably long since taken by elders on the internet. I'm a writer too, but I just name my characters after biblical and other mythological, but mostly biblical characters. I mean, that's pretty typical of humanity, right? If you think about the number of names on this planet when localized for a given language or cultural background, how many of those names are patterned after a biblical character? They are Levant names originally. Just the prevalence of the name John or Jan or Juan or Ian, right? Those are all the same name, and they're all from the Levant, and they all refer to a few key characters from that area that have that name. That's insane. The character Jesus, most people don't name their character. Most people don't name their children directly after that Greek version of the name, but in Spanish-speaking countries, there are plenty of people named Jesus, which is directly after the Greek. And in most other parts of the world, the names Josh, Joshua, Yeshua are all in reference to that same name origin as well. There's an immense amount of names taken directly from biblical backgrounds, yeah. Sorry, I think I said hi to Ruby Jane just as you were entering ad break. Welcome back if you were not able to hear me say hi when you first came in. And welcome. According to the role in the plot. Oh, gotcha. So you even use names to like shortcut ideas. So if a character is known for something in biblical or mythological background, then you sort of use that name as a wink and a nod, like, hey, by the way, this character is going to be a betrayer, or hey, this character is going to be a proselytizer, whatever happens to be, right? So you're using, it's like cultural shortcut. I was trying to figure out how to skip the ad for a whole minute. Oh no! Until I realized YouTube and Twitch are 2 different platforms. They are. And as it turns out, for those of you that are new to the stream, the Damien Home channel streams across many multiple platforms. We're live streaming right now on Instagram, on Kick, on Trovo, on YouTube twice, and on Twitch. Why do I stream twice on YouTube? If you're watching from your phone or any vertical, what's the word I'm looking for? Resolution device, I have a separate stream so that everything's laid out better for you. And then if you're looking on your typical, 1080p horizontal sort of screens, like a computer or a tablet that's held horizontally, I've got a separate YouTube stream for that format, and they both have everything laid out in their own sort of way, so nothing's crowding each other, and everything looks nice in and of itself. By the way, if you're on Instagram, yes, I still have issues with the platform. If you're watching the stream right now and in 2 minutes time, maybe less, the stream just freezes, please go find me on one of the other mentioned platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, or Trovo. Those streams will continue until the end of the show. Instagram has been buggy for months. I've opened up health tickets. They won't fix it. It's just a bad platform for live streaming, but I persist because it's free. In the particular work I'm currently working on, it makes more sense because characters are sort of actually those biblical characters. Oh, interesting. I see. Because in context of lore, it makes sense. Neat. So you're pulling from the folkloric basis of the Bible to create sort of an ongoing story with characters that may be those exact people in a different world or setting kind of thing. Kind of neat. Ghost Joy, hi and welcome. There's more forest on the other side of this lump. Oh, I know it. I'm sure of it. I see the tracks. Come on, Aubrey. Smash this thing. Oh, yeah, Aubrey. Aubrey has the head bump thing because she's got a metal plate in her head. Or who knows why she's able to, like, break bricks with her forehead. Oh, what's this? You're asking me for help, Kel? How rare. Step aside. I'll show you how it's done. Look at the stars in her eyes. She's so excited for this. I'm going to give this strange lump all I've got. Go, Aubrey. Smash that thing. Oh, she's going to use a bat. Okay, that's probably much safer than using her own head. I don't think it did anything. It sounded very lumpy. Yeah, just a big old lump. Why do I always seem to catch you just as you play Omori? I don't know. Are you just usually free to watch live streams on Sundays? Well, I don't know if it's Sunday where you live. I don't mean to assume people's time zones. Happy time zone to everybody, whatever time zone you happen to be in. I'm glad that you're here watching and enjoying the chat, the conversation with me. Thanks for being here. Tonight is the, well, not tonight specifically, but today altogether is the anniversary of my mom's passing. And it's still kind of fresh to me. There's one like thing I want to change in my life before I feel like I can finish grieving for this. And some of you know what that is. And I just feel like I woke up in an unjust alternate universe where her being gone and the rest of the world carrying on the way that it is feels super anti-karma, super unlucky, unfair, not right. And if just one thing would change, I think I would feel less raw and angry about it. But today I felt raw and angry in parts of my day. But Oz and the kiddos have helped out immensely and gave to me today an overall very positive and nice day where good things happened. Not a sit and chat night. It's a stand and chat night. Oh, should I be standing right now? No, I'm just kidding. I do have a standing desk, and I was doing treadmilling earlier on in the year, and then I started getting more active in my day-to-day like off-stream life. And then by the time I got to streaming, I was just like so tired and so bereft of resources. I was passing out hard trying to get through the bedtime routine before starting stream, that I needed to like take a night drive and like breathe some fresh, humid, hot Georgia night air. Because at night, if you step outside in Georgia, it's hot. It's hot and humid, and it's weird. It's gross. The sun's already down, and it's still hot and sticky outside. Only in the like the witching hour, like somewhere around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., it starts to get really cool out, and then you start to get like dew and coolness and everything. But especially in the summers, nights are hot here. You really want to be in AC. Yeah. So I'm not on the treadmill tonight. I'll be good from here. Good. I'm always off work at this time. Oh, well, then there you go. I'm glad I'm here for your off work times. Safer, but is it as fun though? Wait, safe. What's safer? It's Monday where I live, 7 a.m. to be exact. Oh, I think I know roughly where you are. My family is originally from Finland and relocated to the U.S. because they distrusted Russia, probably rightfully so. If you're Finnish, you probably agree with me. And so I have like a mental sort of concept of what's roughly 7 hours ahead of me, thanks to that. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Omori in particularly, I feel, is the perfect game to play when getting past those feelings. Maybe. I worried that if I played Omori tonight, specifically tonight, this one day of the year, that I would feel heavy emotions that I wasn't ready for. But we'll see. I feel like we're kind of in a lighter, because we're in the kid dream world, like part of the story. So I don't know that I'm necessarily in a feelsy area of the game. We'll see. as we play around. Yeah. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. I haven't yet lost anyone important to me, but my work makes me meet many people still nearly crying. Interesting. I'd be curious to learn if you're willing to share what sort of work you're involved in. Oz studied to be a mortician, and we are looking this summer into the mortuary industry in Georgia, which has some really steep apprenticeship requirements. And if she were to try to be an apprentice, the cap on pay for that, plus like her being away from the house for so long every day, would be pretty brutal. So we're just trying to understand like what our options are and what the right thing to do in the state is. So she's trying to reach out to a number of mortuaries and sort of get person-to-person confirmation on what exists out there. Because if you read websites, that's all like policy, and we don't know if there's wiggle to that or alternative options to that, or what funeral homes follow or don't follow those protocols, or what's required. So, yeah. You deserve a new follower? Well, thank you. I always appreciate new followers. Come hide in the forest with me and my firefighter. I mean, I'd love to go back to the PNW. I miss the PNW. There's so many reasons why Oz and I wanted to be up there. And yet, when it comes to reasons why we're in the South, for the kiddos, for real estate, for growth and development, for investing in an area and then hoping that we get something more out of the investment than just we decided to live here. I think we made a good choice with Atlanta the year that we did. Now I don't know if it would be the same ROI for coming here. So I don't know if I could convince other people, yes, our area is important to move to in 2025. But when we moved here in 2021, was it? Good God, I'm forgetting my years. Yeah, I think so. This was maybe one of the most important choices we made. And PNW was on the list of places to relocate to, and it failed us on several metrics. So I think we made the right decision. I do miss the PNW. I'd take a trip there in a heartbeat because my heart lies in that part of the world. I need conifer forests and wet, and I just need that part of a continent to live on. Take a guess. I'm not from Finland, unfortunately, and Russia scares me even more because, well, it harms me directly. That's a huge hint about where I'm from. I think I know, and I think based on those few clues that you understand why my family moved and why my ethnic country of origin joined NATO, and why I am a huge advocate of you and your family and your future having the best, most protective and supported outcomes possible. I wish I was a policymaker. I wish I could make things happen so that the best outcome happened. I was just speaking with a family member who was generally in a weird position with the U.S. and its administration, where they're very supportive of things happening with our country's politics, with the U.S. politics. And I've pushed back a number of times and said, I feel like our current leadership in the United States is one in which if Russia says we really want this, it will eventually influence the U.S. to say, I think that's right. Russia says that they really want this, but here's why I think that's a good thing that they get it. And the most recent meetings and conversations in that vein seem to sound something like Russia is a big bully that just found a kid with a tasty lunch and stole that kid's lunch. And then they got in trouble for it. You stole another kid's lunch, Russia. You need to give that lunch back. And then Russia, this little shit of a kid, this little 6-year-old or whatever, with proto-empathy, said, it's not fair if I have to give the whole lunch back. I'll give half the lunch back. And then I have half the lunch. And the kid has half the lunch. And that's fair. We've divided the lunch. That's fair, right? It's fucking ridiculous. What a stupid pro-Soviet old guard elitist. Anyway, it's the Fen in me coming out. I size people in suits. I do not work at a mortuary and instead clothe the living. My work in the moments actually has cards you can write in to give to them. Interesting. I need to be sized for new clothing. I wish you were in my area. I need to find somebody to help me get clothing with goals in mind. Oh no, but I'm greedy on occasion too. Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting to live closer together. If you're ever really incentivized to come down to the Atlanta area and find a different type of forest to be a hermit in, let me know. I've had a man who lost his best friend since high school to alcoholism. Brutal. And he had come in before the tears even stopped. He honestly just needed to fall apart. Sometimes being in a place where you're not around people you know, like a shop or just something where there's a connection, like being with a tailor or something of the sort, so you have a deeper connection, but they're not like also emotionally or personally involved in your private life. Sometimes that's all it takes to like get to the real cathartic release of a situation. Last year, the end of last year, I lost my like number one longest childhood best friend. I'm not that old. Nobody my age has just randomly keeled over. There are people who I went to high school with who have died because of like a car accident or, you know, something like brutal or crazy, like a weird, it's always like a weird accident or like a birth defect or something like really big and impactful. And this childhood friend of mine, his family decided that they didn't want to do an autism. Oh my God, what a fucking stupid misspeak. An autopsy. So I don't know what happened to him, and we'll never know. Not that I need that for release of my grieving, but it's hard to know somebody as young as me, not that I'm young, but like young as me, to just like, he spent part of the winter or late fall saying, I don't feel good, and then just passed. And he's just gone. We were estranged because I was a really horrible friend. This comes back to me talking about how I like to own up to the bad stuff and the good stuff so that you know I'm a mixed bag. I'm not all good. I'm not all bad. I'm willing to share the whole lot with you. I'm willing to be proud when I should be and willing to be ashamed where I should be. We were not good friends after growing up as good friends. But it still hurts for me to be bereft of any future connectivity with him, except to talk to him like he's around, like kind of prayer and ritual, speaking to the dead kind of thing that I do every once in a while. Yeah. I don't think I'm allowed to advertise my work. No worries. Yeah, don't dox yourselves or anything like that. Like do what the right thing is to do when you're on social media, especially since this is live streamed to YouTube. So a VOD is saved for perpetuity. So just keep that in mind as you chat. That stuff gets saved for, forever. Exactly. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, for sure. So I won't give a place where you can get clothes. No worries. If you know any good place in the Atlanta metro area, let me know. My sister is nearby. Yeah, and honestly, if we knew how freaking cool Savannah was before we moved to the Atlanta area, we would have lived in the Savannah metro area. Maybe we wouldn't have been able to afford it. I haven't priced real estate there, but it feels expensive. Like I could tell you, if we were looking in Atlanta, the city, there's not a chance we would have moved there. We had to live in the, you know, the greater outskirts of the city to be able to afford anything. And probably would have been the same thing with Savannah. We would have loved the city and then said, well, we need to live like a 20-minute commute out in the boondocks, because I don't think it would have happened. It's good to hear supportive things from an American. I mean, keep in mind, I'm not like, my family didn't come over in the first European flight to the New World, right? My family came over when Russia was flexing its big strength and trying to do an imperialism. So I sound like I've lived a fully American life with a long chain of family here, but of a storied past that is not all here on this continent. I started to lose faith in y'all since Trump's in charge. Trump's election was like a half of the population sort of thing. Actually, less than half if you're talking population of the U.S. But the U.S. isn't, it's not a popular vote. It's based on districting that gets fed up a chain. So people in a region pitch their votes, and then their votes get lumped up into a elector who represents them. It's a representative government. And so different representatives have a say over regions of the country. And so some regions that might have a whole ton of people that are anti-Trump might only have so many electors guaranteed to them. And other places that might have smaller populations might have higher elector support in their area. And I think that's part of what explains Trump's success. But there's also just a contingency, as in many countries that have some embedded racism in their past, that there's some frustration and fight for people who are older and think a certain way about the world and how it should be. And they think a thing about their religion and how that should be part of the state when it's not in the US. And they get angry and they want somebody to say, I will defend you. And Trump is neither the salt of the earth people like those people who voted for him, nor is he religious like they are. He's none of the things that the people who voted for him are, but he says he's going to support those people. And they just needed somebody to say that. And to the detriment of the other party in the US, they were not good at reaching over to those parts of the country and saying, we see you and we want to help you feel supported too. They wouldn't do it. They demonized those people. And Trump sucked up their hurt and feelings of abandonment and said, I won't abandon you. I'll do things for you. He's a liar, but, you know, he made them feel good at the time. I think that's part of the win. Sucks. It sucks. And now he's like, I think Putin's onto something. I think he should get what he asks for because we've been friends for a long time. Something like that. Where did we leave off? Where did we leave off? My childhood friend was killed by a Russian missile a few years ago. Oh. Not that I was particularly close to her, but still it horrifies me. It's awful. Especially, I'm assuming your childhood friend was a civilian, somebody who should not have been hurt in any conflict for any reason. I don't want people knowing where I work. My work is all across the U.S. Oh, gotcha. You're part of like a bigger chain sort of thing. I'm only half U.S. This is true, Troa. You keep a foot in a sensible country as well. Can we get half of an eagle scraw? What's a scraw? I'm not familiar with that word. Distracting that they engineer? My whole state is currently in battle to prevent gerrymandering. It is into an even bigger red state hell. Yeah, where Kit lives, we also have this weird situation in which, for some reason, the populace isn't allowed to do this. A nonprofit, unbiased, organization isn't allowed to do this. Politicians who directly benefit from this situation are allowed to go into a state and say, we will draw lines where you get represented. And so we can manage the map in weird ways so that one party or another party gets more representatives by an unfair drawing of the border lines. So we say, oh yeah, all of you people are split up across multiple districts and therefore you won't get a representative. And instead a minority might get a majority representation as a result. It's really messy and ugly. Gerrymandering is an awful thing that should honestly have some sort of like similar law, like we have antitrust laws, i.e., a company gets too big or has too much power that they can assert over other companies. We try to break up and spread that influence. It still doesn't work. We have those laws, and these companies have so much money, they can pay a crazy big legal team to work out strategies to bypass antitrust. But we don't have anything that really screams gerrymandering is illegal and you could do something better on the districting instead. There's certain types of corruption in the U.S. we just allow and allow and allow for decades, centuries. How that happens, I don't know. Probably because those people with the power will keep the policies in their favor as long as they possibly can, and in their kids' favor and their grandkids' favor. A beak full of maple syrup. Nice. We also had 50-50 bullshit before 2014 when half the population voted for pro-Russian candidate every freaking election. Do you think that has something to do with, from my understanding of Ukraine's population, that prior to the Soviet Union's collapse, Russia pumped and dumped a whole hell of a lot of ethnic Russians into Ukraine as sort of like a controlling mechanism. Like if we have a majority population of our type of people in this area of the world, we can leverage that later. We can say these people are our people. We're blood tied. And so we have the right to do things for those people in the future. Wouldn't you say, or would you say, am I hearing this right from where I live, that that's part of why there's such a conflict in the first place, is Russia saying, we're coming in to help out these people that are asking to be annexed by us. Well, of course, they were implanted by the Russians at some point previously in history. We have much simpler electoral system, obviously, and still, yeah, that's awful. Garbage. Civilian and a teenager? Jesus. Crazy. Oh, scraw's just onomatopoeia. Oh, like a screech of an eagle. Districting, not distracting. I think I knew what you were trying to say. Screech is probably the word you would have thought for. I like scraw. It's not, once I hear that it is an onomatopoeia word, I like it. I like it. Real eagle sounds are hilarious. Yeah, don't they always show American symbolism, like the bald eagle? Don't they always give them like a different, like a red tail hawk sound? Because the bald eagle sound just isn't, it's not there. Just like how they put like tiger growls over top of footage of lions in old cinema, because nobody liked to hear what lions actually sound like. I was like, the king of the jungle. Well, look at that crazy hair that they have around the males' heads. That's cool. That means something. They're really cool animals. Oh, they sound like shit. We'll give them a different sound. Overdub that sound with something else. It's a hawk sound we hear for eagles in ads. Yeah, exactly. Or rattlesnake sounds for a python? I've never heard that. That's pathetic. Pythons don't have a rattle. So why would you do that? That would make me laugh. If I saw an animal with no rattle and I heard it making some sort of vibratory sound, I'd be like, where's that coming from? Did you like swallow a pack of crickets and they're all like rubbing their legs inside your mouth or something? Like, what's going on? Where does the rattle sound come from? I'm loving writing mechanics for the game I'm trying to put together. It's just silly and I'm loving it. What's the silliest thing? I'm going to continue this dialogue. I promise I will continue this dialogue. Also, even a lot of the ethnically Ukrainian people who even might be self-identified Ukrainian were, and some still are, culturally Russified. Right, that's true, right? Because some people were subject to schooling that erased culture and heritage and enforced a solidarity. Speak our language, join our movement, be part of our, unification. And I think the way that they've created that propaganda in the past really bit into some people and changed the trajectory of how they envision themselves. Yeah. Culturally Russified, spoke Russian, watched Russian media, etc. Yeah. Yeah, we say that in other countries too. It's garbage. In some B horror flicks, I've seen the snakes with rattles that are clearly not rattlesnakes. Pathetic. When asked why I'm so nice, I can actually just point north. Of course. Yeah. Can't be because you're American. Somebody accused me of not being American. And I was like, wait, how do you know? I mean, not like, yeah, I was born on U.S. soil, but, you know, my family emigrated from Finland last century to flee the whole Russian expansion sort of thing, all the fears involved in that. But I do feel like people still point me out and be like, you're not like a native born, you know, multi-generational family came over on the Mayflower ship with the original colonists in Massachusetts, sort of American. And I'm like, maybe. Why? And they say, because I'm too nice. Apparently, Americans are just not known for being nice or not known for being educated in global affairs or understanding of other cultures or just curious about anything outside of their own municipality or learning other languages. I don't think the U.S. is known for xenophobia, and yet it seems like there's an undercurrent that seems to be not that Americans are xenophobic, but that they're xenophobically lazy. Like, oh, I just don't have time or bandwidth to learn any of that shit. And I don't even know all the states' names, let alone countries outside of the states. Instead of just calling abilities what they are, they are instead nicknamed. Oh, that could be fun. My next 6 messages will explain the name and actual way it would work. It is meant to be, like different cards. Okay, so complacency is defense. Persistence is buff. Oh, interesting. Ignorance is a negation. Betrayal is a debuff. I like that. It's good. It's kind of neat. It's like you've got your own sort of jargon that I think gives a different flavor while also keeping a system that makes sense to veteran players. Hubris is damage. Interesting. And madness is healing and resource management. Okay. That could be fun. I hope that the players buy into that system and like the way it's represented. I was told I wouldn't want to be a part of a conversation because I'm from Texas and the people chatting were not Republican or Christian. Oof, that's really monolithic. I'm really antagonistic against people who lump you in based on your locality, the color of your skin, your experiences, your ethnic heritage, anything, or your socio-political status, anything of the sort. It's such bullshit. Get to know people on a one-to-one level. Nobody is that able to be templated. Yeah, I was like, oh, good, me either. Yeah, if somebody's going to be that exclusionary, I probably wouldn't want to be part of that conversation no matter what. Even if I feel like they're wrong about the way that they're excluding me. I'm like, you know what? If you've already made assumptions like that, I don't need to be connected with you. But seriously, we can't converse unless we have the same views. How lame. Yeah, there was a while where, and this is, I I very rarely say good things about the right. And I'm not going to right now either. But I will say something very negative about the left. There was a while in sort of like the mid 2010s where I feel like the United States left was big on this idea of if you aren't the same skin color, ethnic background from the same countries that my parents fled from and got to the US, then if we have a conversation about police or about housing or about privilege, you as a person of European descent cannot participate in these conversations because you will never know, never understand, never truly grasp what me and my people have gone through. First of all, through my grandfather's remarriage, a lot of my family is part Hispanic. So that's a really weird claim to enforce on somebody when you don't know, my family background. And two, that's really less belittling and demeaning of me and more belittling and demeaning of somebody who has those experiences. If somebody has really negative experiences with police in the US, racial profiling, redlining in real estate, or just anything in which you've been systemically, racially, or otherwise removed from privilege, ageism, sexism, doesn't matter what it is. And if you can't explain that to me in a story, tell me your experiences so that I understand and empathize with you. That's really not saying something about disparaging about me. It's saying something disparaging about the people that you're trying to protect. You say, oh yeah, D can't participate in these conversations because he'll never truly understand. If I would never truly understand, then the onus is on the person telling the story, sharing their perspective to help me understand. And if you say that they can't, you're saying that there's a shortcoming in them. Humans are eusocial, communicative creatures. I should be able to hear somebody's plight, be able to hear their stories, be able to understand their lack of privilege or cards stacked against them, and be motivated and inspired and empathetic and resonate with them, with us sharing our stories with each other. Why would you ever exclude me from a conversation because I don't come from that same background? Help me understand. Tell me, teach me. Tell me what things are like. Exactly. Also, there was an illusion of choice. Instead of just prohibiting anything Ukrainian, Soviet authorities created and promoted an over-exaggerated parody of Ukrainian culture. So kind of like, I think the term in debate is straw manning. Straw man is, instead of me showing you what the opposition to what I want to succeed in its truth, in its full capacity, being honest about the opposition, I'm going to parody or showcase it in a farce, some sort of bad way, or reduce what it is so that as I explain it, you're going to get a distorted view of that. And then when I argue my point's better, my side is better, you should come join me, it's an easy win because I've now depicted the opponents in such a negative and horrible way. If you follow along with me and you agree with my premises, it's a really shitty debate tactic. There's been a fight in debate communities. I used to be into shock YouTube, and part of that was like the debate bro culture, where people get in like shouting matches on Discord, like 9 people in a panel together, Brady Bunch style, arguing with each other about like who's the best next candidate or what we should do with the economy and that sort of stuff. People just yelling and screaming and insulting each other. But they did create a term in the debate bro culture called steel manning. It's not a real debate term in formal debate, but steel manning is just sort of like a polite opposition to straw manning. You look at your opponent's stance or their view or their position, and then you try to give the most charitable, honest, and supportive view of that to admit that you see where they're strong and how they could be great, but you have your own differences as well. If you are good at steel manning, another person's position, it puts more trust in the things that you say because it means that you're not totally inherently biased against them and have a twisted, distorted version of who they are. While presenting everything Ukrainian as like rural and simple, while Russian was presented as prestigious and modern. See, yeah, I don't know. To some degree, being modern and anti-rural has its own problems too, because a modern, progressive, and urbanized civilization lives off of bread baskets, lives off of salt of the earth people, lives off of traditions being held and slower ways of life to ossify certain parts of culture and heritage that deserve to be stuck around for a while. And if you think about it, for somebody to be fighting for a Soviet version of Russia again, where their borders are spread far out, that's an even more backwards and antiquated view than what a rural population would have. I mean, one, it's not true. And two, it's what a distorted way to depict Russia in that regard. Yeah. Each card trait is for each party member, and some cards will be ignorance and hubris, or madness and complacency. Oh, I like that. They're weaker than a true card, but can be equipped on either character key phrase. Nice. Speaking of straw man, I used to be in a debate class with 20 other students, and I suck at looking things up, but was really loud. That could be plenty. I mean, you could always look things up or have somebody else look it up as long as you're loud. There's a lot to say for that particular strategy. At the time, I was always the straw man against my opponents. I would constantly interrupt opponents and speak on nonsense that sounded right, but was 90% incorrect. Interesting. Not that Ukrainians were presented as bad, but like simple, rural, and uneducated. That in itself, it's a pretty shitty depiction, because then it creates this sort of push. Like, well, we have to help them. We have to support them. We have to imprint our culture on them and elevate them out of that, right? So I'm on a few different social media platforms trying to grow this as a business. And one of them that I'm on, just for more... Thank you for the lurk. Spoke too soon to the season. All right. Sounds good. Thanks for the lurk support, Tro. I hope you feel better soon. I'm on a platform called Red Note in the US, but the proper application name is called Xiaohongshu, Little Red Book. And Xiaohongshu is predominantly in mainland China, but there's a lot of other cultural support on the application as well. And the way that they depict India and Africa is so crazy, because they do so much of the same. Like, these are rural, bumpkin, uneducated people. They need structure and organization and support and modernization. They really need somebody to come in and like help uplift them. And it's sort of this way of placating the Chinese populace into feeling like, if the government decides to do these big programs where they create like big bad trade agreements, like, we're going to give you a bunch of infrastructure and then you're going to be tied to us for X number of years, where we get like big discounts or free stuff from you as a result, that they're sort of what's the word I'm looking for? They're regularizing, they're making regular those feelings of, if China goes and creates agreements with other countries, it's going to only be for the benefit of those countries. They need China's support. They need China's infrastructure and modernization. We need to help them. They're disenfranchised, bumpkin, rural people, so we got to do it for them. And it always comes up with more benefit to China than for the place that they're trying to help. Yeah. Simple and educated obviously needed help from their educated Russian brothers to progress. Yeah, exactly the same tactic. And it makes the layman in Russia feel like whatever the country does, whatever the administration does, it's good. We're helping people. We're helping poor and educated people out, right? My teacher barely passed me because of the grade, because part of the grade was who the class thought won the debate. Oh, that's kind of rude. I mean, if you just lost the debate regularly because you're up against people who are better arguers than you, well, I guess it's only part of the grade. I feel two ways about that type of grading system. They told me I would be awful at actual debate, but would be a great politician. Oh no. The thing with politics is you don't necessarily have to be substantive in your positions or in your career, but you do have to be evocative. In other words, the facts of your career matter less than the emotions, the evocations, the optics. How you're perceived matters more, which shouldn't be. We should have fixed that by now. We're smarter. We're a smart nation with lots of big data and tech and science, and we should know how to anti-propaganda people in our country. But there's so many powerful people that benefit from it, that benefit from keeping that system alive, that I don't know how we disentangle ourselves from that when some people love the entanglement. What's worse, to some extent, the idea continued to be promoted by independent Ukrainian state until 2014. Ugh. And somewhat even until 2022. Awful. I think part of it, too, with Russia is that the rest of the world should have held them to task a lot sooner. But because they're nuclear power, everybody stayed afraid for wave after wave after wave, and has only recently built up a little bit of a backbone where they're upset by Russia's actions and has decided that nuclear armaments are not enough to let somebody just do whatever they want. Because Russia with Chechnya was just avoided by anybody with the power to help. They saw it and they're like, well, that's a nuclear power. We just don't want to, you know what people with nukes, what they can do. So we got to let them figure it out. And it sucks, but we just got to keep our distance. And then again in Georgia, and then again in Crimea, and then again, just like again and again and again. At some point, if you just keep letting somebody who has developed nukes say, well, I'm going to do this, and nobody will do anything, nobody will stand up to them, it's going to be a problem. It already is a problem. It's a huge problem. It's insane that that's the reason why people backed away. That so many administrations in so many different countries have said, well, we can't involve ourselves in this. I love my trade system, though, because each key word specifies toward each character of the party what is basically their main flaw. Oh, that's good. I like flaw systems. I really do. I think that when you have a band of heroes and they roll well and they know the system well and they sort of know how to mitigate, like, oh no, that thing made me feel poisoned and now I have to do certain save rolls. I know what to do. When you have a seasoned group of people that know what to do, how to place their stats, and don't make mistakes, and basically they always play at their best all the time, you have a predictable and regular sort of game where there really isn't much room for great memories to be had. Great memories, I think, come from the chaos. And chaos comes from bad happening. Whether that's because you've increased the difficulty level such that even the seasoned player can't keep up, or you have newer players or veteran players that are willing to do this, just do wrong things. And keep in mind, this is what I hate about veteran players. Veteran players of D&D and other systems really ought to know the difference between character knowledge and player knowledge. Live in your character. You're playing a role-playing game. Play the role. Does your character know what a bugbear is? Does your character know that you would do a knowledge roll for this? Does this character know what arcane magic is like and all of its nuances? does this character memorize the the Dungeon Master's Guide or the Monster Manual? Probably not. Play to your character, and mistakes are fun. A good DM is not gonna like kill characters off all the time, left and right, make people feel disenfranchised, box people into, an A or B outcome, or just an A outcome, and just put their characters on rails. A good DM is going to let people explore and experiment and let bad things happen and still move forward with the story when bad things happen in unexpected and fun ways. And I think that's a big strength. Keeping characters flawed is a great idea. The cards that are 2 characters are gained by 2 characters bonding more and more. Oh, neat. I like that. I like to play a chaotic good idiot. Yes. Chaotic is great. And as long as you have a DM that's really good at keeping the narrative alive and agile when the player base wants to do something off rails. Well, we hear what the quest giver is given. We basically see the glowing exclamation point over their head, and we choose to do this other thing instead. You gotta either have planned the contingency or have studied some improv theater or something and let your players do what they want to do. Give them a different way, or subtly, without telling them, find a way to put your work that you put so hard into tonight's session. You really wanted them to be in this cave. You'll get them in the cave, but you'll make it feel like it was their choice. Did anybody ever see My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the women folk in the Greek family were all in agreement of something, but they couldn't get it to happen in the household until the husband and the father, until he said, "This is my idea," and they go, "Yeah, we agree," and then it happens. And so they all like subtly manipulated him into saying, "This is what I think should happen." They're like, "Yeah, Papa, that's a great idea." Kind of, it's like that in D&D. You let your characters decide. They have total autonomy and no fated path. They're not boxed in. They're not on rails. But the things that happen, you might still constrain them without making them feel constrained. I had a kobold who was a bard of lore whose power is gained by him carrying way too much knowledge. Whoa. And the joke with the DM that each level I get in the class, the longer it takes me to find the knowledge I want in a creature, even if a fraction and sliver. Interesting. That could be fun. Yeah, I like that. I like when you've got something that's impactful and powerful, but it comes at a cost, right? That makes good storytelling. She's really nice, doesn't think too much about consequences, and sort of floats through the battlefield of life on whimsy. It's fun. That sounds fun to roleplay too. I think players also like taking on weirdness and flaws and unusual characters instead of just being optimally like, well, I'm going to grab these 4 dice for damage and just decimate anything that I fight sort of thing. That's it's boring. At that point, just play a video game. If you really just want to roll dice and watch your dungeon master's carefully crafted encounter get melted by your crazy powerful fighter, just go play Call of Duty or something at that point. By the end, I had to take 17 minutes to find tiny details that don't matter. Oh no. We were facing a shadow monster and they were holding it off as I went through my scroll for 17 minutes. God bless them. By the way, about D&D, never played D&D, but for some reason, a lot of people assume that I play D&D. Same with a band called Tool, and I won't listen to them out of spite. Tool, well, so D&D is, it's fun only if you have friends that are all involved in it. I don't think it's as much fun with strangers. I don't think it's as much fun if anybody's involved that's not interested in that type of world. And there are plenty of other things you could do with your time if you wanted to have a live interactive experience with friends. Board gaming, card games and gambling and stuff like that. There's so many, or just, I don't know, watching a show together and talking about it afterwards, or having philosophical conversations like we do on my streams. Like all this kind of stuff means it's not the end all be all. And D&D is only as good as the person hosting and the players involved. So if those are not great and the story is kind of meh and the players are kind of meh about it, it's not good. It's not good in and of itself. D&D is not good in and of itself. Players make it good. The host, the dungeon master, makes it good. Tool is a band that is not the best at prog rock, but they're more famous than a lot of other prog rock bands are because they're more commercial. And they're not the best at the deep things that they say in their lyrics. Maynard, who James Maynard Keenan, what's his name? Keenan Maynard? Maynard, he, when you really do an investigation of his lyrics, he's really not as deep or as educated or as ancient and spiritual and mystical as some of his music sounds. I feel like he's a little bit of a tourist in deep thoughts. He's interested in the ideas of alternative spirituality and hallucinogenics and ancient religions and all the symbolism and everything, cosmic ideas and ways to meditate and meet spiritual planes and all that sort of stuff. He's interested in that. But if you listen to him from a stance of, I've studied some of this myself, you find that he's not really in the world so much as he just writes about it. Or I think he might be in it, but he's just kind of a tourist. If you don't really like Tool or you don't even care to like learn about Tool, I don't know that you're necessarily missing out. If you have music in your world that lights you up and you love, you don't need to go find other new music just because other people tell you that that's good. So don't listen just for the sake of other people saying, oh, you look like, because I often dress goth or semi-goth. Not tonight, but in some circumstances and maybe more in my future. I had a lot of people in my life tell me that they think that I would like Bauhaus, and I've really never listened to them. I think I put them on Spotify once just to figure out, well, what does everybody think I like? And I listened to them like, nah, not my thing. I'm not a Bauhaus person, not a Smiths or Morrissey person, not a Cure person per se. I know some of their like more famous hits, Smiths and The Cure. But the stuff that I'm into these days, it's not in that vein. I'm not a post-punk person. And the like early 80s goth scene from the UK, it's just not really my thing. Even if I like to look like it is, I guess. My party heard me go, aha, just to find out that their feet are paws. What? That'd be frustrating and funny at the same time. Good. I like that kind of gameplay. In one campaign, I played a displaced fae who ran a traveling mystical critter petting zoo. I love that. She spread the good word about her deity, which was actually just herself, because she gained power through their belief in her. That's funny. Have you heard the word of my Lord and Savior? Me? To make sure no other player could use my scroll of all knowledge, he decided to make it a DC 30 check to even begin going through the scroll because my character never straightens the scroll, so it's all on every inch of the page. Nice. I know people, because I studied computer science in university, and I know people who wrote code that way. It's like you've just developed your own 3D engine all alone on your own with, variable names that are like A, B, C, D, A. And when you got to Z, like A, A, B, B, I was like, okay, explain this code to me. I don't see any like comments. Like, what does this function do? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to you, man. I wrote it, and then, once it started doing what it needed to do, I just kind of forgot what it does. And like, there are coders like that, absolutely like your character. Where it's like you try to read through their source and it's like, I have no idea what you did, but it works somehow. The end product does what it's supposed to do. I don't have friends like it all. I mean, Friends are hard. The longer we have terminally online people and just the way the world is moving, and especially post-pandemic, personally, I don't know how you make friends. I hear people talk about it online, and I think they do it just to fit. Bye, everybody on Twitch. I think some people on YouTube and other places are just trying to like feed the algorithm. Like they know there's a loneliness pandemic and a lack of friend pandemic, and they want you to watch their content so that it feels like they've got the solution, just so that you will keep watching their content, so they keep getting the monetization. But the number one way to make friends that I keep hearing suggested over and over again is develop an interest and pursue that interest. Get involved in it deeply. And then you're going to go out and you're going to interact with the world that's revolving around that. And you're going to meet other people who share that interest too. You know, if it's like painting miniatures, go to a game shop that sells miniatures and paints. And sometimes they have those tables that you can sit at and do your own miniatures painting there. And then you might meet some people there who are also painting their miniatures, using the shop for that. That's great for painting miniatures. Because I've personally seen that. I don't paint miniatures, but I know if you want to make friends with somebody who paints miniatures, the local game shop that's by us, if you go there, they have these tables. People bring their little pewter characters and all their little dip pots of tiny paint, and they're sitting there with their, 3 horsehair brushes, and they're painting the fine details on a very tiny miniature thing. And if you sit there long enough with other people, day after day, you might make some friends. So it does work, but not for everybody and not for every interest. Not every interest immediately capitulates into making friends. What if your interest was playing basketball all the time? And so you go to like the local park and the basketball courts, and there's nothing but like, some teenagers that are all there with their own friend group, and you're old and they don't really want to make a friend out of you. What do you do with that? How do you find other people that are interested in that? What if your tastes are not social? You couldn't really do them outside of the house in a community event. Do you drop your favorite things to do so you go and do something else instead? Do you give up part of yourself? Well, this is what the one thing I'm interested in. Well, too bad you can't make friends doing that, so don't do it. I don't think they're right. I'm not sure what the right answer is for making friends, but I think everybody that's tried to feed the algorithm with their ideas is off base. They're missing a lot of people with their solutions. I know that because I am in fact a prog rock / metal fan, nerd even, and listen to almost everything except for Tool for the reason named earlier. Yeah, you're fine. Prog rock fans don't need Tool in their life. You've got plenty of great other options that are way more prog than Tool is. Yeah, you're fine. I love code that is held together by a squirrel scroll and duct tape. Hell yeah. My best friend and I, Akumu. Hi and welcome. Can I do the things that I usually do yet, or are we not? We're still not doing that. I don't know who's in. I need to check who's in my stream right now. Oh, you know what? I see one of them. So I'll keep it quiet. Okay, where were we? My best friend and I met gaming. Oh, wait, really? Beat and I have seen each other in person twice. I'm going to stay with her next spring for a week. Oh, that's cool. How locatively close are you guys? The main thing I think I love about the keywords as well is how it lines up with each player. I think anytime you create a system that's bespoke to the players, you feed into them and what they want in the game, or a flaw that they want to take on, or part of the backstory that the character has. Anything that really feels bespoke, I think is a good idea. I've had this game on. Yeah. I think that's really smart. That creates good memories, in my opinion. Akumi, thank you for the chills. I've officially fucked up my sleep. Oh no! I mean, please don't follow in my footsteps. So last night I got fairly decent sleep, and it was kind of creepy actually. I woke up, I want to say like 9:45, and I was asleep by maybe 4 a.m. So that was like more than almost 6 hours of sleep. That's a ton of extra sleep for me, really. And when I woke up, the kids had been awake and were entertaining themselves for a while, possibly like maybe 2 hours. They were playing and crafting and doing stuff and doing art. They weren't asking for food. They weren't waking us up. They weren't asking us to put anything on the TV. They were busy in and of themselves. And it feels weird and a little bit wrong. Like, they're of an age where I kind of want to be awake and interactive with them, but I really needed the sleep. The previous 3 nights to that, I'd gotten an average of 3.25 hours of sleep every single night. It's been bad. I've been focused on really trying to be healthier, but between work and other things going on these last couple weeks, it's gotten way worse, even though I've been trying to really be healthier. Yeah. Because Damien streams, my plants no longer die. Whew, I'm glad I didn't skip stream. I was feeling really tired before stream, but once I got the camera on and got everything set up, I'm just feeling more engaged. Plus, honestly, it's you guys too. You guys fill my battery. I took an accidental nap for a couple hours. I was talking with Haley the other day about that too, because I had started to probe her about, like the PNG. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. About stuff, and she took like an hour or two to reply back to the last thing that I asked her, and she's like, "Oh, I took an unexpected nap," and I know what that's like. I've had those too. Madness is I wish to save a world my creator wants to destroy. Ooh. Complacency is my sealed fate. I cannot find it. Ignorance to know myself. Can I understand it? Truly. Persistence is I must remain for her. And betrayal is I will hurt enough to make you feel it. And hubris is I will light the world you made without me. Wow. Those sound deep. It sounds like you've got a great basis for a fantastic campaign. I hope everybody likes all the infrastructure you've done there. Less than 2 hours by plane. Oh, by plane. Okay. About 4 states away from each other. I think she visited here right before the pandemic. Oh, gotcha. When I had to make a mad dash to my mother in the hospital, she drove the 2 hours to spend the night hanging out. Oh, I love that. She's my ride or die bestie. I love that. I really love that. You got jumped by the Navadinches. Oh, I really did, and I was just cuddling the child to get her to sleep. Honestly, like my kiddos, if I lie next to them in bed, they're cuddly and warm and nice and all that. But for some reason, if they hop on me, like their weight, their pressure, especially like if I'm lying down on my stomach and they hop up on my back, it's like they hit certain pressure points. My back is just like really tense knots and stuff like that, and they seem to like hit like just the right points where those knots just release. And if my back tension goes away because they've done their child foo on it, I'd pass out. They can be wiggling too, they can be squirmy like kids are. Kids are only like so comfy. Because when you snuggle with a significant other, with another adult, like they know how to like reciprocate. If you go, oh, ow, that kind of hurts. Or like, oh, your elbow's like squishing my ribs. You can kind of talk with them and they'll like move and adjust. But kids are just like a ball of chaotic energy. And sometimes they can't really settle well. And despite that, despite the wiggly, chaotic nature of my kids, if they hit those special points on my back, I'll pass the fuck out. I'll just be out. completely disenfranchised with the rest of the world. Cuddling kids and pets are like physical Ambien. Pets are good. Yeah, pets are much more comfy for the most part. They tend to not like have sharp, bony stuff they dig into you. Except we have one cat. We have two. Well, we have two cats, but one of our two cats cannot retract her claws. And Oz doesn't have it in her heart. She doesn't want her to have clipped claws because she really does, you know, with her unretractable claws, use them to do big stretches and pulls and like likes to claw appropriate things and sometimes inappropriate things. But without that, she wouldn't be able to really dig her nails in and get that proper stretch if she was clipped. But man, she could get the wrong spots. And she's cut me in places that, you know, I wanted to commit physical violence, but she's just a cat. She's just a cat. She doesn't know. None of the characters the players are playing are okay. Good. I think that's so good. You don't want wholesome, full characters with no flaws. There's no... How do you get the drama then? They all need therapy. Oh, me too. They are instead going to beat bandits with huge rocks. I've joked about this with Oz, but I'm thinking seriously either this year or the next year, because we've met like streamer goals for audio. The audio's set up, the lighting is set up, the backdrop is it's an ongoing project, but a lot of it is kind of set up. The production, the cameras and forward lights and everything. Like there's so many things that you helped put together over the last 4 years of live streaming, more than, or yeah, almost 5 years, God, that we wouldn't have this studio and Oz's studio. We have 2 studios in this house for live streaming and content creation. Thanks to you guys. We wouldn't have been able to put together. You guys put this together. And now I'm thinking, okay, like the physical is put together. Should I have like monthly stream goals for get me to therapy? Because I know what I've experienced. I need it. I almost want to write like a summary for my first therapy session ever. I just be like, listen, let's save ourselves a huge amount of time. Here's the bullet points about like what's going on right now. You need this primer just to get us started, because I'm not going to spend money on giving you 5 or 6 sessions where I just talk about my backstory. You just need to read this like little piece of paper and get caught up. Then we can talk formulative conversations. That's how fucked up it is. I feel like I need to create a menu and be like, here are the specials of the day. Where do you want to begin? Yeah. That's how it was when she was a baby. It's less so now, but my sleep has been iffy lately. Gotcha. Yeah, babies are really cuddly too. Man, there's so many times where the little, when she passed out on my chest or whatever, that was just like, it's like a, have you ever had diathermy in like physical therapy before? It's like a heat. It's like a deep heat that goes through your chest and sort of like opens the capillaries in your lungs. It's great for when you're like really congested or whatever. I don't know many people that have like diathermy machines in their offices or whatever at various clinics and hospitals. So it's probably not that popular these days, but I've had it happen. I've had that thing done to me. You just pass right out, having deep warmth through your chest, and babies do that to you too. I have to clip just the tiny tip of one of our cats. Oh, just enough she can't get the needle tip in. Right. Yeah. Some cats have honestly like hypodermics going on at the very tips of their nails. The green will thrive, but the horizontal remains safer. Oh, good. Please do. Please keep the horizontal. I return to the leaves. Sounds good. I use an app called Planta to keep my jungle together. I would recommend that to Troa, but I like that Troa uses me. So I'm not going to complain. Oh, everybody's dotting. Well, this is embarrassing. I guess we should find another way past this thing. No! Have her... Yes. Let's do that. Oh, son of a bitch. I thought Wait, it's not. Oh, maybe it is this way. No, we can't go in the water. You can't. We tried. We're scared of drowning, I think is the answer. No. No. You get away from me. Is it? We went this way already. This would be the only other way forward, but we've done this puzzle. I hope we don't have to do this puzzle again. This looks like a job for OMORI. Oh, yeah, crap. Tag. Right. Oh, was she holding like a... Was she holding like an eggplant? Stuffed eggplant? I have around 31 indoor plants. Oh, you need Planta then. You can't use just me. I'd be lost without Planta to keep it straight. Who needs what and when? Yeah, I would definitely do something like that then too. I have some things that help me schedule and plan out things in the household. But what I would really love, this is me putting this out here into the universe. Maybe you all know something. Or I should maybe chat GPT it. No, that's rude. Some of you all don't like chat GPT. If any of you in the audience know, what I would really love to find is a free, non-pay, non-subscription app that does rotation of tasks, i.e., like Planta, which probably tells you when a certain plant is up, right? So you don't have to pay attention to a calendar or a phone or clock app or an alarm. The Planta app would tell you when things are coming up. We don't have plants to water that are like that. Most of our plants that we love are outside, and it's rainy where we live most of the year, so that's not a big issue. We live in a very green and dense foresty sort of place. But what I would really love it for is just scheduling 4 people, me, Oz, and the kiddos, in rotating and sometimes trading off chores. Because especially as the kids keep getting bigger and bigger, we want to involve them in the regular cadence of things that need to happen. Taking trash out, doing loading the dishwasher, sorting the laundry, like little things that will really be helpful if I don't have to mentally keep track of whose turn something is, or if something has been put off long enough, like, okay, yeah, this really needs to be changed. This really needs to be done now. Like I want to see that. I want to see that things are overdue, and I want to see that it's the Tiny's turn and she's got to step up. All that kind of stuff. I really want that sort of round robin-y kind of work environment, and the apps that I've found so far are really subpar, really bad at that. Nearly an entire hour on Aubrey failing average Damien gaming. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. You're right. It's true. And I blame you guys for being who you are. You are interesting, captivating, and connective. I learn. We get deep into conversations. We speak on things that are important. We're not just wasting the time saying, and then you know what my coworker did? It was so rude. She's such a bitch. Just like I said last stream, but worse this time. Yeah, there's some streams, God, especially the just chatting streams, where you could sit for like a half an hour listening to the person on camera, and they've got to be a narcissist. They've got to be. The stuff coming out of their mouths, it's just like, pay more attention to me. Feed into me. Let me tell you how I'm the victim here. Let me pull, push my reputation higher and higher. I obviously want people to follow me, but I want people to follow me for the value that I'm providing for them, not the cult of personality of D is so great, so follow me because of me. I want it to be because of all of us and the thing that we all concoct together. Ultimately, that's what matters to me to make. I want it to be so that, like, if one day I retire or pass the businesses that I make in my lifetime on to somebody else, everybody will be like, oh, I guess Dee's not going to be part of it anymore. Oh, well, moving on. Like, what's next or who's next or whatever, just it would be interchangeable because it's about an idea or a philosophy or a way of looking at things versus like I'm selling you just who I am. I'm willing to provide, personal anecdotes and stories and stuff. And if you like me, that's fine. I don't mind if you like me. I just want it to be more. I don't want people to sit and go, oh, we're here for D. D is great. I need it to be more. I want it to be more. I hope it's more. It tells me when to water, clean, fertilize, repot, and overwinter. Wow. I can also diagnose problems and identify plants. That's a really good app. That's very clever. When my kids were little, we had a calendar-like checklist on the fridge. I like the idea. I wish I could do things technologically because I'm a technophile. Oz is a technophile to some degree. She's a little more into practical than I am. And I think the kids learning how systems work through software is generally more forward focused for their future success than learning old systems like paper systems. I think it's a bias though. They had a magnet to move into their day and what had to be done. Yeah, I think, and part of the problem is because you can't automate that. People can like forget to move stuff or like not update things, and then you have complaints or there's ways in which that can fail. Me, no, I'm not interested. I'm ghostly joy. You're part of this, and I appreciate you for being here. I love Miser, the one who embodies madness, because her journey is her getting the fragment she needs to become herself again. That's got to be intense. So somebody who knows a way out of madness and is pursuing that, which is a walking calamity. You mean her regular self is a walking calamity? So she's going from mad to still problematic. Let me talk to Hubs. He might be able to tell me more how to make an app for that. Wait, does Hubs do app creation? Is that a thing? You stay away from me. You stay away. You stay away. I lit the candle. Why are we here? I don't feel like this is right. Oh, God. Am I supposed to be doing this whole maze again? Was I supposed to keep moving forward and not go backwards at all? Or is this wrong? Go away. I lit the candle. Oh, I do want this way. Because there's a thing in here I'd never grabbed, isn't there? Oh, no, it's there. How do I get to that? I have to keep going more over to this side. Get away. Oh! Yeah, this. What did I get? A faux tail? It's supposed to be pronounced foxtail if you don't speak French. What is that? Equip? Is it an item? It is. Not a real tail. Speed plus 50. So it's a foxtail, but it's a faux tail. It's a faux foxtail. He has made programs for some really complex shit. Oh, interessante. I feel like this is in his wheelhouse. Shit. Yeah. I'd love to see something like this exist in the world. And really, it's something that like I have knowledge of coding. I just never like made an app. So I'd have to like learn how to code in app coding, how to publish it, how to make it look good on a phone screen. Like, dude, and you know me in time. I don't have it. But the concept is simple. It's really just creating tasks, assigning them to a calendar date and time, having a recurrence option of all the different recurrence things. That one's a little more complex. I feel like some apps get it wrong because they miss something. Because some things happen on a day. Has to be the 15th of a month. Why is that? Because that's how certain systems work. Well, some other things are like once every week or every 2 weeks or and then if you're late and you do a task late, you shouldn't have the same schedule exist. You should have pushed the entire future schedule back, right? Like if I deep clean the bathtub, the next time that it comes up, if I was late, might be too soon and the tub might not be gross yet. So if I'm late to doing a task, then the interval needs to be pushed back for every future bathtub cleaning. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And people, I think especially kids need to learn the art of making a deal. So if somebody says, I will do the toilet if you do my whatever, this thing that I hate, and two kids like swap chores, they should be allowed to do that kind of stuff. Like things should be versatile for real life happening. Things can come late, things can be done early. You can swap out tasks and stuff. Like you should be able to mess with everything. That's what makes it tricky. And the few apps I've seen, they're all constrained in some way, or you're paying like a monthly fee. I pay plenty of monthly fees. Maybe more than I should. And yeah, I think we're good in that regard. And when I say more than I should, we're a budget family. We've cut a lot of, we keep our expenses pretty darn low. We do not take on extra random debts. We're not big into buying a bunch of different streaming services and paying for, I hate subscriptions. I like owning stuff. I don't like subscribing to things. The number one thing that we subscribe to because it matters so much to Oz and me is Spotify. Just having music of multitudinous different genres and styles and eras in our house. And the kids now have their own strong opinions about what they like to listen to. So Spotify is our one big concession with a subscription service instead of like buying music. Do you want the actual answer to the puzzle? No, I'm okay right now. He engineers and maintains the huge mainframe server systems for companies. Oh, okay, cool. I mean, I also know that like networking and systems engineering like that. All right, that's not system engineering. Whatever that's called. Database, whatever. No, that's not it either. What that is called, mainframe engineering. I'm just going to pretend, make up a word. That I know that does not have crossover with app development. So if he does both of those things, that's amazing. Just because he does one doesn't mean he has any wheelhouse in the other. So that's cool that he knows how to do both of those things. I would not push the task back. I would keep it the same because you were building routine. Depends on the thing. I think that some things, if they get done late, you don't want to like do it again so fast because you're giving somebody like, you might be getting them off easy. Like go clean the tub. Oh, simple quick scrub and it's done. That was a sneaky sneeze that just snuck up on me. Oh, my back hurts. It's one of those sneezes that like hurts. Ugh. It got into my bones, my joints. I hate those sneezes. Sorry if it's weird to ask my brain. Weird to ask. Oh, sorry. I'm misreading what you're saying. Hang on. I think I didn't finish what Kit was saying. You're building a routine. Now you have to clean it again, but it will be quicker and you stay on track. I don't know. I could see merits in both. I think the option to leave it at the same schedule or push it back would be beneficial because I can see merits to both. Sorry if it's weird to ask. My brain is just weird. First of all, I love answering questions authentically because I feel like it builds a new type of communication that's long since needed in this world where we stop creating pretense or falsehoods about who we are or answer to build a type of clout or create a character that's not actually authentic to who we are. So never apologize for what kind of question you're going to ask. The worst I can say is I'm not going to answer that on stream, right? Brain is just weird, and you speaking to yourself about the possible answer made my brain try to greenlight giving it, and I don't want to ruin it. Oh, you mean as far as like what am I going to do next? Yeah, I generally talk pretty rhetorically about solving for games. So if I'm like, oh crap, am I supposed to go this way? Or like, what is the right thing to do here? I will generally be really overt. You'll hear me say, okay, chat, I think I'm stuck. I'm wasting time here. I'm looping. I've seen this space like 5 times now, and I really don't know what the way forward is. Can you guys help me with this step? Is how I would ask the question. But in this particular case, I'm just going through an area that I've already been through before. And I know I had skipped that one melon. And so I'm just going to move forward and see if it feels like it's the right way. And if not, I'm going to turn right back around and get out of here. I know we wrote a few programs at work that were adopted by the company. Oh, that's badass. The programs automated some reporting tasks for them. My last company I worked for, I was in the capacity where I was able to do my work faster than the work day at some point because I was using auto hotkey, which lets you macro physical moves with keyboard and mouse. And there are certain things I was using like a web-based interface to do some of my work that you couldn't just automate through scripting. So I had to do it through end user stuff. And so it came down to I was just pressing like a couple random keys on my keyboard and like multi-step things were happening on screen faster than I could do it on my own. And so I'd get my work done so fast, and I'd use my spare time to create little apps like that. Not apps on the phone, but like apps for the company that would just help out this or make this faster or automate this part. Anything that was like a pain point, that, especially if it was really repetitive, tedious work and people were doing it by hand. I was like, oh my God, you know, the era that we live in, you should not be forced to do this to earn your money. Plus, if I could look at another person's role and say, well, I immediately see something that you're doing that is a huge waste of your time and is probably super boring for you to do. Like, let's get that off your docket. Either you just work less and don't tell the boss, or you use the reclaimed time and maybe do something more. If you want the company to grow even bigger and maybe have more money for bonuses or a bigger paycheck for you. And to be honest, this last company I used to work for was like that. If you benefited them such that they saw immense growth, they'd pay you in thanks. They would thank you in dollars, which is great. That's a great option. That company no longer exists. It's been dissolved, but you know, when it was around, that was a pretty cool thing. So I felt incentivized to optimize the company. The company succeeded and I benefited directly from it. I'm looping DBD behavior, Dead by Daylight. He hates the reporting because it's time wasted and it's sitting there doing things one by one that can be done in an instant with the right program. 100%. There's so much of that in the corporate world. There's so much wasted time where it's like there's really no reason why anybody should spend their time like that. Go away. Go away. This is the way. I think. I don't remember where I'm going anymore. Oh, I'm super lost. This is not the way. Which is the way? Is that up there? I think the way got canceled. I remember we talked with the lore dump guy and he put us back here. We were leaving this way, but we can't get past that rock up ahead. So maybe we really do need to just bounce out of here and not go this way. Or we ride the minecart all the way up into the rock and the minecart breaks it. That would actually be an option. Oh, get away. Just trying to get to my minecart. These stupid bunnies. There are all these other side paths. I don't think I've gone down all of them yet, have I? All right. Minecart! That's a fun minecart sound. To speak on what I mean, Miser is a robot who is meant to embody a piece of their creator's wife. Aww. There are 5 other robots who are pieces of her that she wants the memory chips of them to be herself again. I see. Oh no! Oh, we're still missing a thing? Did we not get all the track pieces done? That's what it is. We're still missing a track piece. Where are we missing a track piece from? Let's get Hero involved. Unknowingly creating the remnant of a person who shouldn't exist anymore due to events in her past. Gotcha. That's a good tragic story. I think that's well done. He's been all over the place in technology. He was working for the school district as a senior in high school to maintain computer labs. Badass. Oh man, we didn't do nearly as much damage to this guy as I thought we would. But they didn't do any damage to us. That's kind of weird. Oh, then we just took a ton of damage right there. I think we can do this without spending skill. Oh, shit. I did not know that potted plant exploded on death. That's not terrific. That is not happy making. All right. Hero, we need you. We need you. Oh no, we can't cast snack time because you're afraid? He's afraid and he won't do it. Shit. Just guard, man. I don't need your attacks if you're gonna be... Oh, that guy just toasted Kel. Not ideal. Kel's lost out on some experience. He worked in PC repair, AOL help desk, then military technology. The funnel did contractor work when he left the military. That's really cool. Lots of good stuff. Sounds like somebody after my own heart. Although I didn't have nearly that kind of dedication and acumen. I just like people that do that kind of stuff. They're impactful in there. I appreciate them. Let's save. We went this way already. We solved that one. Did we solve all the side rooms? We're still missing one track, yeah? Wait, let's go back up there and just see. I forgot to actually try to place track, just that we saw that it was missing. We're gonna have to fight this fight again. We're gonna have to fight you again. We're gonna have to fight you again. It's fine. Afraid. Can we do anything that clears afraid? No. Pep talk. Oh, yeah, let's pep talk Hero. That's smart. Rebound. Run a gun, run a gun. And then you just attack. What are we gonna do? Stab. Hit right in the potted plant's heart. That's right. You can do it. Oh, Hero's happy again. In this world in particular, a person who kills the person who has caused the most pain in their life creates an avatar which is known as a living calamity. Oh, that's deep. Oh, whoops. Let's just do regular attacks. You're in trouble. I don't know if you're gonna survive, but let's find out. If nobody attacks Kel, he might survive this round. If somebody attacks Kel, he's instantly dead. Easily. Easily. I love these team up abilities. Fun stuff. Oh yeah. We got the food. And we're angry. We're ready to do more. We gotta really kill this potted plant. Depending on the strength of the person, makes the avatar stronger. Her creator, when he was forced to kill his own wife due to circumstances, sealed away every memory of her so she couldn't corrupt into his avatar. I see. By putting her back together, it causes the avatar to realize, oh man, that's bad news. I like that. You've really put a lot of love into this system. Oh, cool. Kel got the level, even though he lost the last fight's experience. Okay, railroad track's missing a segment, and then pocket important. Train pass. Shit, I think it's got to be an important if we were to have it. I don't think we have it. So we got to find it. We're not going to be able to enter the water. Maybe we need to actually be able to solve for fear of drowning. Let me double check. I'm 90% sure we can't enter the water. You're afraid of drowning. Yeah. So until we solve for the drowning problem, we can't go down there. But that might not be what we need to do to beat the area. We might be able to get the railroad track from somewhere else. Do another save, because at least in this game I can save scum. This is my biggest fear of My Friendly Neighborhood, is they limit the amount of saves you can save, which just hurts my heart. Okay, we've already been over here. I'm fairly certain. Wait, what about you? We talked to you already? We must have. Candidly. Can't find my teddy bear anywhere. Oh, we found him. We found a big scary bear. There's nothing down here. That means that we already got this. I hope it's not that we have to fight that bear again. I didn't see any other bears besides that one bear. Do we already do the side room in here? I feel like we must have done all these side rooms. They're all the same kind of side puzzle. Wait, who are you? Oh, I don't remember if we've done this one now. An uninteresting book. Maybe we didn't do this room. What to read? What to read? I've read every book on this shelf over 20 times already. If only I had something more interesting to read. Okay. Well, you need a book. The other one needs a... I see the rail right up there. How did we not do this room yet? Go get it. Go get it. This one's like the easiest. Oh, come on. I was like, this one's like the easiest. It's so short. But then I really screwed up in the moving around. Also, I lit the candle from underneath, which means you need to come around it to come through the maze. And I think that hindered me. There it is. We got it. We got it. We're done. We can go back. We can place it. How did we miss this room? We must have gone past here and found the next railroad track in the next room off of this side, and then used it one room back, and then did the same thing here and went one room back. We were like robbing ourselves, our future selves. No. Don't try to fight me again. Do you want to set that one try? Yeah, okay, so it does obviously like just put it in there for you. This one's easy fails. That's the story of my life. I'm only so much of a gamer. Like, have I gamed most of my life? Yeah. Am I addicted to games? Yes. Do I do fairly well in certain genres? I like to think so. And yet, I definitely get overconfident, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've done this before, or like I've died 5 times here. This time I got it for sure because I practiced so much, and then fail again. Like I'm definitely a person who fails at games quite often. No. No. I guess we're gonna fight you. That's what happened to me in Peak. Oh, I'm that way in Peak too. I make dumb moves all the time in Peak. Dumb gambles and guesses. Oh yeah, I can make this. I can make this. Watch, watch, watch. It's gonna happen right now. I got it. I got it. I got it. It's just, I just have to push a little. Or if I do the lunge at the end, I'm definitely gonna. Nope. Nope. I'm falling and dying. I'm dying. I'm gonna die. I'm done. I'm dead. One run of the game. I don't stream that game because it's chaotic and it's not really for my channel. But I'll play if somebody else streams or if it's just off stream night and I just want to have some downtime and fun. One game we did last week, I died a minimum of one time on every biome. And on the last one, because I think you can get rezzed in the middle, I died twice. Yeah, Peak is chaos. Perfect run, and I failed it because of my hubris. Whoa, what's wrong with my mouth? Hubris. I was like 1/4 of the way to the peak, and I double ballooned right there, going double of what I expected up. Oh no. Careening into the kill. Oh no. Yeah. Got what you deserved. Oof. Okay. Come on, Aubrey and Kel. You guys got this. All right. Getting angry again. Is this plant almost dead yet? Oof. Because we could really use some healy dealies. This thing is not almost dead. Jeez. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about this. Which one of you has, it's Aubrey, can actually heal and help somebody out? No, not attack. Do your thing too. Your run and gun. And then you're going to... I can't actually cast cook. I guess just attack. Oh no, Aubrey's toast already. We're not even going to survive this fight. Awful. I saw the flowers. I had all the requirements for gourmet. Oh no. What a way to lose. Jeez. Not hack away. We really need to kill just the potted plant, really. These potted plants do so much. They take so much damage. They do so much damage. They're just toasted 2 of our characters. We're not going to survive this. Explodies. Well, we were victorious, but only 2 of us got experience. All right, that's finished. Let's go back and heal everybody who just toasted. At least it's not like a death where you have to use resurrecting items to get everybody back. You can just come back here, eat the tofu, do the save, and you're fine. It doesn't help your enemy is sad. I forget what that means. That means they have higher defense. It's like less offense, more defense, and angry is like more offense, less defense, or something like that. I forget. Alright, run past the buns. Oh, I said run past the buns. Kill that bun. Okay, when Kel passes to Aubrey, it does more damage, though. Aubrey passing to Kel is just like a buff. But Kel passing to Aubrey is more damage. Gives more defense and reduces damage taken into their juice. Gotcha. All right. Come on, minecart. Do what I hope you can do and bust through the barrier. Never seen a use for enemies losing juice. Yeah, I guess the theory is if you wanted to, you're draining their MP so they can't use special skills. But the game has to be designed so that's the right thing to do, that it's actually beneficial. Well, that got us through the barrier. Oh, this is cool. Flower spotlights shooting into the sky. Where are we going? Ooh. Special castle of the night. Neat. I'm glad we're finding a cool place to go to. Hey! A station for Pluto's space line. Do you want to wait for Pluto? Nope. But we have it. Oh, cutscene? Cutscene. Everybody's moving without me. Basil, are you here? Oh, she's so sad. Basil, where are you? It doesn't look like Basil is here either. Hey, look, it's Mari. Yeah, she's like freaking everywhere. Crazy space and time traveler. Mari. Oh, hello, everyone. You all made it through the forest. Barely. I'm so proud of you. And you're on the other side of the forest easy. Can't we just teleport how you teleport? Teach us your ways. Mari, I was so scared. Aw, glomp hug. Hero? This is kind of embarrassing. It's times like these I really wish Basil was here. He could tell Hero about how spiders are harmless and good for nature or something. Maybe then he wouldn't find them so creepy. I'm not sure if that would help him right now. Oh, Hero. You're gonna have to deal with this eventually. These things will only get worse over time. Maybe. Or maybe I'll naturally outgrow it. Maybe. I know plenty of adults who are freaked out by spiders. You never know what the future brings. Oh, that was a short cutscene. Can we have a picnic cutscene as well? Yes. Let's have a picnic. Picnic, boo-boo. This forest is a lot scarier than the one near the playground. And a lot older, too. It does have a mysterious air about it, doesn't it? Oh, never seen used for enemies losing juice as much as I love to. Yeah. Again, like, if they really made it so everything had a purpose. Like, what is good DMing? Good DMing is any tool that your characters have or use, you should give them a way to use it. Somebody decides, well, I super want to learn how to do like an anti-magic barrier. Don't make the rest of the campaign all like physical attack enemies with no magic. Give them a reason to enjoy their choice. Same thing with a game like this. If you're going to be able to drain essentially magic points, MP from an enemy, make it so that on some enemies it's useful for that tactic to happen. Know what I mean? Speak your head off about each and every character. Huh? Oh, as much as you'd love to... sorry. I was linking that line to what was happening before. Much as I'd love to speak your head off about each and every character, I have work in 9 hours. I wish I had your quality of character. Get out of here. Get some good sleep. I will probably not. If I quit stream literally right now, I'd get 4 hours of sleep. Oh, shit. Should I quit stream right here? Fuck. Actually, I think I just talked myself into quitting stream. Because if I get less than 4 hours... tomorrow's really going to suck. Yeah. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I better. Honestly, better. I really want to go inside this freaking castle, but it's gonna open up a whole can of worms. I'm going to be up for at least another hour. Shit. I'll speak of what each character's story is based off of. Places is based off the works of the Yggdrasil in the Bible. That's cool. Yeah, I should probably get some rest. I hate this. This is the conflict I have. This is what I'm trying to build. This is what I'm trying to grow. This is what I want to spend more time doing. And, you know, establish as a way of life for the household. And yet, the longer I stay up, the more hours I try to commit to this, the worse my sleep and health get as a result. Something's gonna change. Give me a few months to figure out something. Ignorance is based off of, oh, House of Leaves. Oh, cool. Maudie says, I heard there used to be a huge library filled with books here. Ooh, maybe that's inside the castle. But since no one took care of it, over time the library slowly sank into the ground. Well, there's somebody who's super bored with their books out in the forest. Who told you that, Maudie? Oh, just some shadows here and there. What? If you focused, you could see them too. What? Creepy. Whatever. Reading is boring. Who wants to read anyway? I'm glad my kids don't feel that way. They're big avid reavers? Oh yeah, my kids are reavers. Now the readers. Well, one of them's a reader and the other one's learning. Persistence based off, oh, the giver. Oh, cool. And betrayal is based off of many historical events of Julius Caesar. Oh no. Yikes. Yeah, that's a classic betrayal story. Where's the library now, Maudie? Well, if I were to guess, I'd say it would be right beneath us. Oh, yikes. Like, underground? Yeah, somewhere around here, probably. Oh, that's not creepy at all, Maudie. I feel like there are books in the earth underneath us. Thanks for that. I guess that's it. Interesting. Interesting. Hubris is based off of Wuthering Heights. Oh, nice. All right, let's get some tofu in us. Is there anything Maudie has to say if we talk to her directly? I think I forgot to do this at the last one. Oh, I'm so relieved you all finally showed up. This forest is full of creepy crawlies. It sure is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Not to mention, I keep hearing skittering from up ahead. Uh-oh. Is that castle actually full of spiders? Seems like it could be something potentially dangerous, so you all should probably rest up. We're doing that. That's for sure. Okay, and we're saving the game. Oof. Big oof. I'm having fun. Honestly, just, yeah, your choice and background for everything. That's really so thorough and a lot of work, honestly. But if you're having fun doing it, that's awesome. Gave me a reason to read House of Leaves a little. Good stuff. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your faces. I know that tonight was a little bit of a shorter stream. Just, I think a lot of these streams this summer really have been, and I'm in conflict. I want to dedicate more to you. I want to get started earlier. I have so many wants about how this is all supposed to shake out. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate your lurk support. One more stream for Peak. I'm not going to stream Peak, but if you want to stream Peak, yeah, between like my goals for trying to expand this and also like to not die, because my sleep's been so bad this summer. And I keep thinking and talking about it and being like, I'll get more sleep. I'll add more sleep here. I'll do more. I'll do better. And I'm not getting it. I'm missing the mark a lot. And it's starting to weigh on me. When I started sleep depriving myself, it sounds like such a weird admission. I promise I won't make this long, so I'll go and get some sleep. But when I really started to deprive myself of sleep was honestly like right around the time that we had the little. I think actually a little bit before she was born. Just because Oz had so many issues with pregnancy, and I wanted to help and be of best support and like just be there and do things and stay up. If she couldn't sleep, I wanted to be supportive and all that. And into having a newborn, and the place we were living was not a great place to try to do newborn life and work and all that sort of stuff at the same time. Oh, and Oz was still at in mortuary science classes. So I had some time off that my work gave me for being a new parent, which is awesome. Maternity leave, not guaranteed in the US. Paternity leave, even more rare. And we would, all three of us, me, Oz, and the newborn, drive to her college, and she'd go into class, and then class would have a break, either just like a smoke break, basically, like a 15-minute step outside and hang out, or there'd be a break between her classes. She'd come out to the car and feed the newborn and then go back to class. And it would just be me and the newborn hanging out and having a good time. And it's weird, but we have like a bond because of that. Like raising a baby alone in a car. Not alone, but we had a lot of alone time growing up, me and the little. And then Oz had more alone time with the tiny, the second born. And I think they're grown and they can choose who they want to spend time with, and they're versatile and they're becoming their own people. But there's still some like hard-coded proclivities from like baby times that I think are just like they're subconscious now. Like if it comes down to choosing between one or the other, the kiddos choose the parent that they had more often when the parent that they had when they were a kid or a baby, whatever. Yeah, just watched the first 2 episodes of Alien Earth and really enjoyed it. Never heard of it. I'm glad you're enjoying a new show, though. All right, I have saved. I already saved the game. We're going to bounce out. If you are watching on Twitch, we're going to find somebody to raid out to. So hang on just ein minuto. And we're going to say good night to the other people and the other streams. For folks watching on Trovo, Kick, and YouTube, we're saying goodnight to you now. And I won't see you again for a few days. Our next stream is going to be Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, if I'm on schedule. If you are safe, fed, and loved, make sure someone else too is. Make sure. Do that to others. Make sure someone else is too, please. My mom would have. If her needs were met, she'd immediately be making sure everybody else is taken care of. Maybe less so on the safe. I don't know that she can keep people safe. She wasn't like a hero. It's just a person. But she'd make sure you were fed and make sure you were loved. I would do all 3. I like safety too. It's a prequel to Alien set in 2123. Oh, cool. Thanks for messaging me across multiple platforms. All right, for everybody whose stream is ending right now without getting raided to somebody else, I will see you in a few days. Cyberstalk me in the meantime. Send me DMs. Share me stories of how you have grieved past loved ones, if that exists in your life already. And I'll see you in a couple days.